I just wanted to, one, thank you at this moment for allowing me to participate and for allowing me to participate for this online forum. For over 2 decades, the Women's Caucus has really prioritized childcare. So we're in a difficult moment at this time, but certainly it is a moment that is one that we're coming at with a whole lot of experience and a whole lot of appreciation for the work that has happened thus far in the childcare space. Childcare is unbelievably important, not just to the Women's Caucus, but really to our whole state and to the recovery of our economy. The last few weeks we have seen, or really the last 8 weeks, we have seen more than ever that it is important for individuals to have childcare options in order for them to be able to go back to work. I think it's something that is very, very clear to us. We are seeing also a very difficult challenge that's upon us with the governor's budget that has been proposed in the May 14th revise. Likely some of you that are following closely have seen that in the absence of additional federal stimulus money, there is a 10% cut proposed across the board for early childhood education, K through 12, and also for higher ed. And this, we know, will impact childcare at a very great level, because childcare was never able to grow at the same rate or pace as our other sectors in California. So when you look at the way that K-12 or higher ed recovered from the last 2008-2009 recession, it certainly never was able to grow at the same pace. So this is one of the challenges that we have in front of us today, looking at a budget that is grim, at a budget that we understand will impact Californians in a great way. And it is something that we also think is going to be really important to prioritize. The Women's Caucus at this particular moment is doing everything we can to ensure that the cuts and that the challenges to childcare are not as severe as what's been proposed in the May 14th budget. We have an active conversation with our governor's office, a conversation that happens weekly just on the childcare issue alone, to ensure that we're thinking about the guidelines about reopening. I know that there was some very preliminary excitement that individuals had because we were potentially going to be able to open up childcare, centers and home care all over the state. However, the guidelines in terms of reopening are some of what will create challenges. You have both, from our perspective, the health challenges and the economic challenges within the childcare community. There is the health challenges that guide and direct our guidelines that are established for size, for spacing in childcare for childcare providers. But certainly we know that that is impacted as well by the economic challenges that folks have experienced. We also know that there's a little uncertainty when it comes to what happens after June 30th. And we share that uncertainty with you as individuals who are thinking about how to keep our community healthy and safe, particularly for children. But it is something that is coming from a lot of different directions, from the state, one, by law being required to pass a June 15th budget that's balanced, that's in our Constitution, and the challenges that we have in terms of not knowing whether whether there will be additional federal money. So we're in a unique space, but please know that the Women's Caucus continues to be a champion for early childhood education, particularly for childcare. Our biggest ask right now to the governor after his May 14th budget revisions has been that we ask that childcare be considered like our Department of Unemployment, the EDD department, with no cuts. We understand that if we see this level of cuts combined with the challenges that some will have to meet the reopening guidelines for childcare, there may be some permanent loss of childcare spots in our state that we won't see come back for decades. And that is a concern to us. So I thank you all for being here and for being part of this ongoing conversation and dialogue. I want you to know that the California Legislative Women's Caucus, which is bipartisan, bicameral, is actively working on these issues. We have great representatives who represent urban, suburban, and rural. We know the challenges are even greater in rural communities in our state related to childcare options and slots. And so those are part of our very active conversations with the governor's office at this moment. And they will be very active for the next few weeks as we get ready for the June 15th deadline. There's not a day that's gone by this week where I have not talked about childcare, whether it's in a budget hearing, in a one-on-one meeting. And so know that this is something that's incredibly important to us, and that we are doing everything we can to protect the childcare options we have in this state, but we are also in unprecedented times. So I thank you all for your time, and I look forward to being a resource for you in any way I can.